For months, people have been telling me how good Michael was, and I was never able to see it in the theater, but I watched it last night on Stars. It just dropped on Stars a day or two ago. And I was a little worried that it was going to be like a ripoff of Bohemian Rhapsody and Elvis, a little bit too much like that, not really bringing anything new to that type of musical biopic. But I have to say, I think that Michael was better than both of those movies. Antoine Fuqua is one of my favorite directors. He's a really good director. Training Day is an excellent film. He's done all the Equalizer movies. He's done a bunch of other good stuff too. And I'm really glad to see how seriously he took this movie in a lot of different ways. Not only is it just fun and entertaining, there was no time in this movie when I wasn't entertained. I was bobbing my head around and enjoying the music pretty much the entire time. The energy of this film was really high and the pace just moved really fast. There was very little to not like about it. I think when it first started, I was a little worried about the classic biopic structure that it kind of started with. We open with Michael, he's already a big star, and then we flash back to him as a child. I was a little worried that, oh boy, here we go with this tired biopic structure that we no longer really want to see anymore. Give us something different. However, in this film, I think it added to the nostalgia to have this more classical structure. I'm a little biased. I grew up in this era. When Michael was in his prime, that was pretty much my 5 to 10 year old range, and so Michael Jackson was a god amongst gods to me as a little boy. And I think to a lot of people back then, he really felt that way. And this movie captured the era. It captured the feel. It captured how Michael was larger than life. It really captured very well what it was like to be alive, not only in this era, but be alive and be a fan of Michael during this time. So for me personally, the classical structure worked, but I could understand that being a criticism for some people. The screenplay was also a lot more quality than I was expecting. It's written by John Logan, who did Gladiator and a bunch of other good movies. And I thought he and Fuqua really tackled domestic violence very well. They depicted the overall feel and dynamics of the family, I thought, very, very accurately. All of the different family members had their own individual mannerisms and responses to the way that the father would abuse them. And I really thought that that was well thought out and sensitive to people who have that sort of experience, which I'm one of them. Colman Domingo plays his father, Joe, and he has an interesting relationship with all of the different family members. Michael is the one he's hardest on, as well as Michael's mother, played by Nia Long, which it's great to see Nia Long again. She's always been good. She's getting really good roles lately. I've seen her in a few other things, and she's been really good for a long time. So it's good to see her in a really good role like this as well. But Colman Domingo really captured this sad, pathetic abuser who's also shows his humanity at times. He shows his weakness, and you kind of get this glimpse of like, okay, this is where his pain is coming from, his need for control. And he believes he's doing it out of the love of his family, which is so accurate for most narcissists and who are in this situation. I thought that that was done very, very well. A little triggering if you have experience with this, but I also think that it was done in the way that it really should be done, which is with great accuracy and care. But the real standouts in this movie, besides the music and just the energy and the feel of it, the real standouts of this movie, I think, were the acting, two in particular. So we saw Austin Butler win Best Actor for Elvis, and we saw Rami Malek win Best Actor for Bohemian Rhapsody. Are we going to see Jafar Jackson win Best Actor for Michael? I think maybe we should see him get nominated. I don't know about a win. I don't know how much of a stretch this is for him. He's Michael's real-life nephew, and he captures him perfectly. Most of the time, I forgot that I was watching somebody who wasn't actually Michael Jackson play Michael. He captures his sound, his energy, his voice, everything. He does all the dancing, he does all of his singing, which they blend with Michael's real singing, and I just thought that this guy was incredible, and no one else could have played this role. I can understand why the family might have wanted to make this movie many, many years ago, but couldn't because Jafar just was not the right age yet. His acting was incredible. I would not be surprised if we saw him at least nominated for Best Actor. But the real acting performance that stood out the most to me was actually young Michael. Giuliano Valdi, I believe is how you say his name. He's actually of Ecuadorian and Dominican descent, and he's 12 years old, but he was cast when he was 9 to play the 10-year-old Michael, and he is unbelievable. I've not seen an actor in his first role play a real-life character, I think, better than this, ever. This kid was incredible. He does all of his own dancing, he does all of his own singing. They do blend his voice with the real Michael, but this kid had swag, he had the energy, he had the dramatic chops when there was some hard scenes going on. He was in quite a bit of the early film, carrying most of that early film, holding his own with people like Colman Domingo and Nia Long and Lorenz Tate. This kid was incredible. I could not believe how good this kid was. I doubt he's going to get a Best Supporting Actor nomination or anything like that, but no joke, to me, the music and this kid's performance, and then of course Jafar was incredible as well, but this kid was even better. This this was one of the best performances I've maybe ever seen for someone who plays a real-life character, especially one as big as Michael Jackson. There was no moment in this movie that I thought, oh, this is a really good impersonation of Michael Jackson. No, I thought I was watching real-life footage of the young Michael Jackson. This kid was incredible. I hope this kid's going to be around for a long time, and I hope he can do other things just as well, because this was an unbelievable performance for me. So I was very, very happy to see that. So there's really no complaints about this movie at all, except for, I think, one thing that I should end with. Of course, the movie ends before Michael goes to his big trial. Everybody knows what I'm talking about when I say that. So it doesn't touch on any of those allegations at all. I thought that was an interesting choice to end the movie prematurely before that happens. Now, it works for the standalone movie. If this was a fictional film, you would have no idea, and you would think, okay, that was a perfect spot to end the movie in. But since it's his real life, and we know that his real life gets really messy after this, but I felt a little weird about them not touching on it at all. It just felt like it wasn't the right thing to do to at least, mention something like that in some way. I don't know how they would have done it for this film, because the story that they're focusing on, this era of Michael, everything worked, but to not mention his later life at all felt just a little weird and kind of icky. However, I've noticed that Antoine Fuqua, the director, is actually directing Michael 2, which is in pre-production. So I'm assuming that that movie is going to cover the trial. If it doesn't, then they would be doubling down on the fact that they're acting like it never happened, and I think that would be a problem. But if the second movie kind of revolves all around that and tells a totally different side of Michael and maybe focuses on his legacy overall instead of the prime of his life, then I think that could be an interesting 1-2 combo of Michael and Michael 2. They could work really well together to tell the complete story that is Michael Jackson, which is a very complex story to say the least. Either way you look at it, Michael Jackson is a very controversial figure who has a lot to talk about. There's a lot of complexities here, and I thought this movie really dealt with a big section of his life very, very well, much better than I thought they were going to. So I do think Michael's very much worth your time. Even just on an entertainment level alone, you're going to be supremely entertained. So if you haven't seen it yet and you have Stars, I would check it out. Stars is usually pretty cheap. You can oftentimes find Stars on a sale, and that makes it really cheap. Like, I want to say $2 a month for like 6 months is what I'm paying currently. They also do free trials, of course. So if you don't have Stars, I do think getting Stars just for Michael is probably worth it. But let me know what you thought of the movie, and let me know what you think of Michael Jackson in general. What's your favorite track of his? I think mine is Thriller. It still slaps so hard. Man, there's so many good ones to talk about. Billie Jean is also an all-time great. I wish I could be playing that in the background this entire review, but it would just get suppressed, I'm sure. Tell me what you thought, and I'll see you next time.